Hey, what's up, you guys? Yes, it's me, Quincluded. I'm back. Did you miss me? No, not a single person did. You saw the upload and you were like, gotta waste another fucking 10 minutes on this asshole? Come on, jerk off. So today, in this video, I'm gonna talk about my roommates from college. My first roommates. I had two sets of roommates when I went to Loyalist college. And my first set was a squad of four. So the roommate system is like 6 people, and there was me and my friend Jordan, and then 4 randos that were the best friends I've ever had. That's a joke. I don't like them. I don't even have any friends now. Even Jordan's gone. I'm alone. I have nothing and no one. Please DM me at instagram.com/quick. So it's 4 roommates living in, I think we lived in E building. I don't remember. E building. I don't even remember the apartment number. So, and I'll start with Austin because he was the least remarkable one, and I don't mean that in a mean way. He was the best one out of the 4 boys. Because the other ones all suck dick. They did, yeah. But Austin, the most remarkable memory I have of him is that one time I was cooking hamburger helper, and he came in and he like opened up the cupboard because he in the cupboard had a thing of hamburger helper, and he was like, and I was like, yeah, I'm not cooking your food, jerk off. Like, and he was like, okay, no, like, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal if you did. It's just that every year on my birthday, I make a thing of hamburger helper and cook it for myself. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, most people eat birthday cake. It's in the name, birthday cake. It's not birthday hamburger helper. I just thought that was a weird thing to tell me. And even I told him, I was like, why? And he was like, I just remember one time I did it, and then ever since then I've done it. And I'm like, oh, white people are so boring. Like, what the fuck? Do something interesting. Fuck. What should I talk about next? That's the end of Austin. Like, that's as far as it went. Like, he was so normal. He was fine. I guess next I'll talk about Adam, who I'm pretty sure said he was 25, but he's one of the most childish people I've ever met. Like, well, Adam and Austin kind of had a thing that shook me to the core that fucking, I don't care, but like, well, I do. I care about this, but I don't care in general, because I'm edgy. Ooh. But this pissed me off like you would not believe. I like came out to do something or whatever, like into the main area, and on the coat rack is like a note, like a piece of paper that says like, start taking out the garbage and like start doing your dishes, like, sincerely, Adam and Austin. And like, it was to the rest of us, so me, Jordan, Luke, and John. And then it really pissed me off because in the residence, I had my own garbage that I put all of my garbage in, and as soon as I was done eating and cooking, I would instantly do all my dishes. So I was like, no, you don't get to talk to me this way. So I put up another note that pretty much said like, hey, fuck off, love your number one cunt, Quentin. Of like, at first I just was like, fuck off, I do my own garbage. And then they wrote back a fucking sequel note that was like, we'll do your dishes. And then I wrote a fucking third note like a baby, like, no, fuck off, I do my dishes too. And then the note was just there for a while, and I'm pretty sure, I know Jordan and I didn't do anything about it, like, we both just did our own shit. I'm pretty sure the other roommates didn't start being like, oh, I'll fucking start doing the garbage and the dishes, because who fucking cares? It's not that deep. Like, the sink was never that full, and like, our building was right next to the garbage cans because we were the gross building. They saw that I applied to school, and they were like, well, we gotta put him in the filthy building with all the other filthy kids, because they're all disgusting. Oh, that kid's native? Put him in the dirty building! Of course! And then Adam I want to say he said racist shit. I don't remember if that's true or not. He was a white guy, so it wouldn't have been shocking, but I just know that he said he had a girlfriend. I never saw her ever, not even once. So I was like, like, he's like, yeah, and then one day I'm gonna marry. We've been together 3 long years. Gonna marry her one day. And I was like, oh yeah, what's her name? And he's like, oh, you wouldn't know her. She goes to another school. That's kind of all I have to say about him. I guess he was pretty. I know a lot of the shit. Me and Jordan would just be like, you're a baby. Like, the note thing in particular pissed me off. I was like, you're 25. You're the oldest one here. Act like an adult. But he didn't. He acted like he was 16. Then next, I don't know who I should save for last. I think I'll save Luke Archibald for last. My best friend and one true love, Luke Archibald. Next, I'll talk about John Vanderbaren, who I remember I got the email registry and it said John Vanderbaren, and immediately I was like, I don't want to live with someone named John Vanderbaren because that's an awful name. You sound like you're from the 60s, and I mean like the 1860s. Like, fuck off. He sounds like an ancient, like, orchestral king. But, like, I met him, and he was like, he wore the same, like, shirt and jean combo. He wasn't dirty. Like, I was pretty sure he was showering. And he had a Zelda hat that he always wore. And, like, that was his outfit. And he had this, like, and by shirt, he had, like, 2 shirts, 1 set of jeans, that hat, and that was his look. And he was very, like, haha, memes, but it was 2017. Don't do that. But he was like, haha, memes. And then he was busting up the 2013 memes, the, like, 2007 memes. And it's like, Vander, stop. I also only called him Vander. I never called him John. We only called him Vander. I never called it to his face. I don't even think I ever, like, was like, hey, John. I wasn't friends with these people. I eventually even moved out and lived with other roommates, like I said. But Vander was the meme god himself, which was very embarrassing to be around. And then I remember, like, day one, we all had, like, a sit down and was like, who are you? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Because there's the, like, stereotype that you have to be, like, best friends with your roommates. And, like, day one, I knew I was like, oh, no. Oops! But Vander would pop off about how he, like, loved, even, like, I don't want to be the, like, neckbeard that I am and be like, he was a fake geek guy. Oh. But, like, he would be like, oh, I love anime. And then, like, try and, like, connect, because I'm a gross weeb, and he'd try to connect with me, but he would be like, see JoJo's? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen JoJo's. And then he would, like, the conversation would just end, and I'm like, I guess that is the only anime that exists that we could both try and talk about, ever. And then he was like, I love video games, and he helmed the gaming club, and he would be like, I recommend you guys join the gaming club, and we were like, hell yeah, and we never went once, because how could we choose anime club and gaming club? We're both held on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. I couldn't pick one or the other. I would need to be in at both, 2 places at the same time. My 2 favorite things, my 3 favorite things, anime, games, and John Vanderbaren. And then he also knew, like, magic. And, like, was like, let me show you guys. I actually, like, does anyone have a pack of cards? And this was, like, when we all first met. And we were all like, no, of course not. Why would what? Of course! Don't worry, I've got extras. Which, by the way, he then went, nah, of course you all don't. Yeah, why'd you even ask? And then he was like, I'll go get some from my room, I have a bunch. And it's like, don't admit that. So then he goes, and he gets his thing, and he does a card trick. I don't remember what it was. It was just a basic card trick, like, was this your card, or some dumb bullshit. But I remember later, I don't know how much later, it was within the first 2 months, that me, Jordan, and, like, the rest of our friends, haha, me with friends, am I right? We're all at another table in common area, in commons. And then there was another table to the right of us. This is really sad. It was like, draw picture day. Not draw. It was like, here's pictures from kids' coloring books. Go wild. And we were all just, I was coloring in Mario and Luigi. I colored them in red and blue, and I called it Sonic and Knuckles, and I put it on the fridge in that apartment. And I eventually moved, but when I moved, I left it there, so I guess I don't know if it was always still there. I hope so, because I left and I didn't take it with me, so I kind of hope that planted, like, seeds of doubt within the other ones of, like, did you fucking put a... But there's these two girls, and, like, they're just, like, sitting there, like, coloring, and he comes up, and he has a deck of cards, like, he's, like, on the prowl, like, I need some bitches. And then he rolls up, and I didn't listen to the full conversation, but I know it was essentially like, you girls want to see some magic? And they're like, yeah, oh my god. And he was like, before he started doing the magic, he was like, you girls are both over 18, right? And I turned to Jordan and I was like, come on, dude. And they were both still just like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god. Because, like, at that point, stop doing the magic trick, gun on your hands and knees, and be like, please fuck me, please God, holy shit, I'm so horny right now, I need you both. Because that's what he was doing. But they were just like, show us the magic, fuckface. And then I stopped looking at him because I was like, yikes. And then I started drawing my thing. And that's about as far as it went with Vander. I feel like in another world I could have been really close friends with Vander, because we were kind of similar in that we were like gaming weeaboos, like memes, and but he was just too normie for me, which is really sad. I am very sad and alone, and I was like, this guy could have been my friend if he was a fucking loser like me, but he wasn't, so we weren't friends. And now I'm going to talk about the last guy, Luke Archibald, my fucking soulmate, my dad. So I remember on the first day when we were all sat together chilling like bros. What the fuck? And he just kept repeating, like, I'm from a small town. I'm from a small town. Like, over and over again. Like, every sentence that he had to say started with, like, well, I'm from a small town. Oh, and I was like, dude, we get it. And then, so, excuse me, smash cut forward to, like, the first 2 months. And it was like, every conversation would be, hey, hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? I'm okay, I guess. And then he would fuck off, like he would just leave. He would just fucking disappear. Like a ghost. And I was like, so me and Jordan started making fun of him. Because, like, either try and have a conversation, or just don't. Because, like, he would try, like, hi, how are you? I'm okay, I guess. And he would fade away into a mist. And then me and Jordan would be like, stop! And then one night, post-pub night, I came home. And I was kind of drunk, and then I wanted ravioli, so I made ravioli. And I ate all my ravioli, and then I went and I did my dishes. And Luke was fucking drunk off a dick. And he was like, you want some shots? And I was like, no, I don't. I just ate a lot of ravioli. And he was like, yeah, you want some fucking shots? So he rolls out, and he was like, what kind of shit do you like? And I was like, I don't care. And he was like, you got it. And he brought me like 3 different kinds of rum. But he like tried to explain the intricacies of rum to me. But I was like, dude, I don't care. He was like, well, this one's a spiced rum, and this one's aged 13 years. And this one's a fruity rum. And I'm like, just fucking, just give me them. Just give me the alcohol. I'm thirsty. I'm begging you. Pour it down my throat, Luke Archibald. Oh! And then he did that, and then, like, I was like, alright, we're done taking shots. I'm over this. And then we sat down, and he, like, confided that he didn't know how to talk to me or Jordan, and would say, like, that's why whenever we talk, man, all I do is say is, like, hi, how are you? And then I leave. And I'm like, yeah. But then he said, like, well, I wouldn't know where to start. But you didn't try. You never tried. You would just, I'm okay, I guess, and then fuck off. And then in that conversation, he was like, let's get to know each other right now. And I was like, okay. And I don't remember what we talked about. The only thing I remember was that he was like, hey man, I gotta admit to you that I really don't have a filter. Like, I just want to tell you boys I have no filter, and that I really don't like Indian people. And I was like, of course, absolutely. say that like it's fine. Like we're gonna be like, fuck Indians. And then he turns and looks at me and he's like, not Indian like you. I'm native. And I'm like, I'm not an Indian, so that's great. Like, cool, dude. And then I don't remember much else of what happened. I know after that we left. But I was like, cool, I don't like this guy at all now. Like, before I was kind of like, I'll never be friends with them, like, I can tell. But then he was like, oh, I'm racist. And I was like, bye. I also remember once I heard through the walls he was asking his friends if he could bring his very large knife into the pub night with him. And they were like, no. And he was like, oh, man, I just really want to. And I feared for my life. That's it. That's all the roommates. I'm not going to talk about myself or Jordan. But, yeah. I lived with the best people on planet Earth. And I miss them dearly. Bye.